The crowd was going crazy for Mike, bro. Yeah. Mike would swing. He swing again. Jake hits him. The whole crowd's like, ooh. A lot of people are saying that it's rigged. And, you know, dude, like, I'm just going to be quite honest. I'm just playing, I don't fight, I do pray. I only go the way of Mr. Yahweh.
It's not often I sit down with somebody and they say something that makes me think.
Bro, this was great.
I love you guys.
Will you give me something to think about?
My own damn way.
I had a lot of fun on this interview.
Will you turn 3 down just a tiny bit?
3 down just a tiny bit.
Tiny bit.
Tiny bit. Is bumping, 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 bumping. Is bumping, 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 bumping. I love the variation of like the clap. It's like farther away from the mic, and I'm like, dude, that's like synthesizing.
I'm glad you liked it.
Thank you. Welcome back to the George Janko Show, guys. What an exciting year, man. I am super, super grateful. I know how we're closing down season 2, God willing, right? I think that's going to be exciting. But I just wanted this episode to kind of be like a cool recap of everything that's been going on. I think we should first start with everybody like kind of like talking about, and that is the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight.
Crazy.
If you guys are new here, my name is George Janko. I am here with my beautiful wife, Shawna Janko. I was about to say your old last name, bro. That was a little weird. My manager, Divij, and then my man, Reeds. Welcome back, guys.
Good to be here, bro.
It is really good to be here. Are you guys all doing good?
Absolutely.
Yeah, before we even get started, guys, thank you for being with us. Let's get into it. Let's talk about this. We were at the fight. You guys weren't at the fight.
No.
But me and Divij were at the
question.
fight. Yeah.
Do you regret flying to another state for that at all?
Reed.
Sorry,
It was a lot of travel to watch.
I do. And I'll tell you why. My buddy got really sick because of the traveling. The traveling's really exhausted. I missed the beginning of a beautiful wedding that I was supposed to be at.
Yeah.
You know, dude, like, I'm just going to be quite honest. The energy in that room was different, dude. Like, you know, all their fights, like, rip his head off. Dude, it was so quiet, where I was at least. I was like with the Celsius crew. Yeah. We were in this box. We were watching the fight. Super grateful to be there. Honestly, always blown away by Jake. Everything he's done is incredible. I don't care how you feel about him. The sport is more popular because of him. He's doing what he's doing. He's working hard. I think out of all the social media people boxing, I think this kid is incredible and he's doing a great job doing it. Unfortunately, I didn't see the fight panning out the way I thought that it was going to. And you could just kind of see it on like Jake's, like, now mind you, I haven't talked to him about this and I hope he's okay with me like expressing my feelings. It's always uncomfortable talking about somebody that I like. I'm friends with Tom about it. Yeah. But it was like, this was the first fight where my heart wasn't racing for Jake. Because I was just kind of like, dude, it's Mike Tyson.
But it wasn't first when he came out.
Yeah,
when there was the entrances.
No, I didn't. I had
really?
When Mike Tyson came out, you had no.
No. You know why? Because I saw him walking and went with his leg, and I was like, oh no.
I'm talking even just coming down with the music going and him walking down the aisle all by himself.
No.
All by himself.
It was
Did you see his eyes when he was walking out? Like, he looked like he was on something.
Well, let's all jump in with our opinions, but let's be organized about this. I'm really good at
like this, George.
Thank you. So my thought was, I wasn't nervous because I don't think there was like no losing for Jake if he lost, because like, dude, you lost against Mike Tyson, bro. Like, no one cares. Even if they're like, he's 60 years old, it's still Mike Tyson, bro. You put me in a ring with Mike Tyson, you know what's gonna happen? I die. Like, it's just, it's Mike Tyson. So like, for me, it was like, okay, cool. This is such a cool moment for him, right? Like, think about being a kid looking up to this guy, and then all of a sudden you're in the ring with him. Like, as Jake Paul, that's an incredible moment. Something he's going to be able to share with his kids, especially the money that he's going to share with his kids. Like, it's a good payday. It's all around good. But what I think none of us expected was like, the crowd was going crazy for Mike, bro. Yeah. Mike would swing. He swing again. Jake hits him. It's just like, the whole crowd's like, ooh.
You could feel it through the screen.
Bro, dude, it felt like your grandpa was in there.
It was
like,
awkward.
Get him out.
Yeah.
It's like,
it was awkward to watch.
It was uncomfortable to watch. But also, it's not Jake's fault. I know a lot of people are like, you should fight somebody. Like, bro, like, he did it for like a legacy and a memory and a cool event. Again, this is show business, right? Like, it's a good show. It just felt really uncomfortable to watch him be slow and dodge and like, And then also watching your friend like pull his punches. And in my heart, I was like, man, I wonder what Jake feels like.
I wonder what was going through his head
You know
during
what I
that
mean?
fight.
Like,
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, like, dude, what does it feel like going in there like, oh, I'm going to kill this guy. And then you're standing above him, you're like, oh, I could feel what everybody's talking about here. I got to pull back. I can't.
I watched it on the Netflix Live, and like I'm obviously not like.
So you didn't fly
well-versed.
to another state, you know, from your living room?
Yeah, I ate pasta and watched it. It was very nice. And and you know, I'm obviously not well versed in fighting.
Yeah.
But from what I saw was, I will say, like, when Jake walked out and then Mike Tyson walked out, I was actually physically nauseous for Jake because Mike Tyson's punches are so strong that I thought, oh, one punch, like he's done, you know? And you can, from what I saw, you can tell in the first round, Jake was very scared. He literally backed up and was all the way up against like the ropes and he was very scared. And then going into the second round, he was like, oh, actually I can do this. And then it's like from that moment on, he knew that he kind of like, okay, I could actually like dance with him. I could dance with him. And then it's like, then you just felt so bad. You don't not felt bad for Mike, but you don't want his legacy to be like taken away from him or to be anything like diminished. You know what I mean? Just because he's fighting a younger guy, because he is an amazing legend. And so it just felt like everybody felt sad.
And he was so cute. Like, bro, I don't care what anybody says about Mike Tyson. He's such a cute man. Like, dude, for him being like, I don't care what they think. I'm doing this for me. Like, and I was just like, that's so good for you, man. Like, he has the most confidence, and I pray that a lot of people have that type of confidence. And
I think my opinion of it is that it was really cool. I just think that it was marketed as something completely different. When two grown men are like, I'm going to knock you out for like 6 months straight. And then it ends with like them kind of bowing at each other really respectfully. And like, it was a cool moment, but it's like, this isn't what I've been waiting for.
I don't think that's what any of them were. A lot of people are saying that it's rigged or it's a show. Like, bro, it's extremely hard to rig a boxing match. It is extremely hard. Also, there's so many people that want to tear down Jake's legacy that there would have been a whistleblower. There would have been somebody to be like, hey, this is not real. I don't think it's rigged. I truly just saw a good friend of mine training to fight one of the best. When he got in the ring, he realized that person is no longer with us. Like, that person's here, but his legacy as a boxer of who he used to be. I mean, brother, he's 60 years old. Like, look at any 6-year-old man boxing, regardless of who they are, it's going to be different from that age separation.
Yeah.
And I think Jake was really excited to go in there. I think Mike clickbaited us. I think all those videos of him like and hitting him, and everybody's uploaded videos like, did you see that video? He's going to kill Jake. And
yeah,
when we
the
got
difference
into
in that
It
Shawna was way
did.
different.
It did feel like he kind of withheld punches. Like if you watch the training footage and you see like when he like ducks under something and he throws the hook, I feel like there was plenty of times during the fight where he could have thrown the hook, but he just didn't throw it. And it's like,
oh, you're talking about Mike, yeah?
Yeah, about Mike. Like,
but I think it's because of his leg. Because, like, again, like, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a boxing coach, but when you watch boxers, they use their legs and their hips. So if his legs are out and he's pulling those punches from there, if you notice, he was getting unbalanced while throwing because I think he's trying to manage the pain. And then also, I think he did say that there was something wrong with his leg.
he had a brace on his knee too.
And yeah, he was limping on the way in, or he like tripped, which means like, I don't know. All I know is that as a show, it was cool, it was entertaining. I should have just pulled up at my house and watched it. I didn't think it wasn't like I'm gonna fly out to this city and stay. But you know what? I gotta say this. It's really cool that whole city was there for Jake, and to watch him grow into that. People wearing his shirts, people like, it was so cool. I'm so proud of him.
bro.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
crazy.
That's such a cool thing. Like, regardless of how you feel about him, the kid brought a lot of money and eyes to boxing. I'm excited to keep watching him go. I am now just starting to understand people are getting frustrated. Like, dude, fight somebody at the caliber of that you should be. But again, it's like, bro, like every single person that talked ill about Jake, and I would just ask him one question. I said, they'd be like, yeah, he needs to fight a person, blah, blah, blah. And then I would hit him with but would you fight Mike Tyson for $40 million? And they all answer, hell yeah, fight him for, like, so it's like, dude, at the end of the day, bro, like, he put on a great show. It's a good show.
Exactly. And he put respect on his name. Like, the whole time I was watching, I was like, please end this, like, in a respectful way. And the fact that he bowed to him and he only gave him praises, he couldn't have ended, and I know a lot of people are upset by that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he did that. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So-
He took like 10 seconds at the end to be like, we respect you, Mike.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful.
Jake is growing, dude. And I love seeing it. He's always been such an educated, kind-hearted human behind the scenes. I'm very excited that people get to see that in the light. You know what I mean? He deserves it. I'm tired of people talking ill about his name, but the people that they praise are not great. And he's such a good kid. So I'm glad that the problem child is becoming loved. And I know that a lot of people are like, hold up, no, not after that fight. But I do think that he's just starting, bro. Like pound for pound, I think the top 5 just called him out. So he still has room. He's so young, he could just keep going.
Of course.
What I was not okay with, and this actually angered me, and I hope Jake figures something out. Amanda got robbed.
Oh my god.
And that upset me, bro.
Yeah, she did.
That girl got headbutted so many times. They took a point off the other girl. The other girl couldn't even stand at the ending of the fight.
Didn't make sense.
And then they give her the fight.
Yeah.
That doesn't even make sense at all. That doesn't make sense at all. I was literally in the bathroom peeing because I was like, oh, there's no way they're gonna give it to that girl. So I'm sitting there by myself peeing. And then when the radio people said that they gave it to her, I was like, what? How is that even possible?
Yeah.
Did you watch that fight?
Unbelievable. I was watching it with my girl, and it's probably her first time ever watching boxing. And that we were there for the Mike Tyson fight, but I was like, oh, there's some undercards. Like, we'll just put it on in the living room. And we were glued to the screen watching that fight, bro. Like, I think each round there was over 100 punches thrown.
Gosh.
Maybe each person. That might be an exaggeration, but it was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
No, it was insane. It was absolutely
and I was
insane.
telling her, I was like, the next fight, Mike Tyson is going to be the complete opposite of this. Like with just because they're two guys that if they hit each other, bro, you feel it. These girls, just right in the face,
going at it.
just right in the face, over and over again.
When she got headbutt and her eye split open,
Yeah.
and they kept showing it, I was like, they're calling this fight. They should. Her eye's about to pop out,
Yeah.
and then she came out to still fight.
Baller.
She's an animal.
That is. Amanda needs her flowers and the belt. Give her the belt, dude. Like, she needs that belt. Like,
And she didn't even talk down on the woman when they called it for the other girl.
Yeah.
Class.
She still
Yeah,
was
class.
like, like this lady has a problem with headbutting. It's happened before. Maybe we should do something about that. But she just said only positive things. And I was
Imagine
like, wow,
getting robbed.
So respectful.
Your eye split open. The opportunity is not there no more, and still being calm and meek. That's a true heart of a fighder. That's pretty.
act.
Yeah.
She
class
gave
act.
glory to God in her speech too.
Oh,
at the end
amen.
there. Yeah. Which is
Who do
beautiful.
you guys want to see Jake fight? What do you think would give him good credibility and be like, yes?
I think Canelo.
I want to see. I
Alvarez.
want to see another Tommy fight. I want to see that rematch. I think Jake needs to get back in there with Tommy. I think that would be cool. I would want to see that rematch
too.
because that way he could kind of bring back that W.
Definitely a real boxer. Definitely not a UFC guy putting on boxing gloves or a influencer that brings numbers. I think he needs to fight a real acclaimed boxer for sure.
You know what I like about Jake though is he even says that he'll go fight bare knuckle. Like he'll fight without gloves on. So I feel like he's got that courage. Like he'll take anybody on as a contender.
He's been like that.
I want to see an MMA match from one of the Paul brothers.
Sugar
Bro,
Shawna.
I would. Bro, I'd be so happy.
They've really intertwined into the fighting world,
it's
like insane.
It's inevitable that they get in the octagon or something, and bro, I'm so there for that.
My fear is that because everything does fizzle out.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way. I'm even saying about this show. I'm saying about anything that I love, right? Like, things fizzle out. My fear is that before it fizzles out, the brothers are going to fight. And I would hate to watch that.
Logan and Jake Paul.
Yeah, I would hate to watch that.
I don't think they'd ever do that though. I mean, they've talked about it in the past. Like they feel like they wouldn't do that because it could ruin their entire.
I think they're
brotherhood.
good businessmen. And I think that if business isn't booming, because right now it's booming, bro. Like you see their face everywhere. I think when business isn't booming, then they would fight each other. I think Jake would win. And I know a lot of people might not disagree. I don't know.
But Logan's a dad now. He's got that dad strength, bro. He's got a kid now. Jake doesn't have a kid.
I just think
Does that make a difference?
This is
Yeah,
true.
it's got
you-
dad strength. It's a thing. Dad strength.
Are you a father?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but I have a dad. So
That's
I do too.
okay.
no, I just don't want them to fight because they're just they're super passionate. If they get into it, it will linger past the ring.
yeah.
If you think about it though, we know they're both really sharp businessmen, they could have already planned it out. Like perhaps this is all just a buildup to them actually fighting in 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, they play chess for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, they play chess.
Well, Mike Tyson said he wanted to fight Logan. Did you see that in the speech
Called
after?
it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually very proud of Logan for not jumping on that opportunity because that's like, think about it. That's millions of a payday. And he was kind of respectfully like, I'm okay. Like,
No,
and like,
what? He said, I would freaking destroy you.
no, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
I didn't catch that.
I was like, why would you say
That's
that?
Logan. That's Logan. Hell yeah, bro.
And I truly thought like he was gonna, because at first he seemed like he was thinking about what to say, and I thought, oh, he's gonna say like, no, like,
I thought that's what he did.
No.
I swear I saw that.
That's so funny.
I think Jake would be the one to hold back. I don't think Logan will hold back. I think he would run right through him, bro. I don't think he would want to do that. So I pray that he doesn't do that. But you know what, bro? Like I might want to watch that fight.
Money's
money. No, I don't know. I don't know what Logan's doing with the whole boxing thing. I think he's taking over WWE. I think Logan's going to be the new Rock of the WWE. I think that's the direction he's going.
He's good at it.
They're
I
freak
just keep hearing
athletes,
about
bro.
him and
They're
Bradley
freak
Martin
athletes.
chirping at each other too.
Bradley chirped at me. He called me. He goes, "What's up with you saying?" As a joke, not as like a
okay.
serious one. He tweeted at me, but I'm not gonna lie. When you're 260 and you tweet at me, I got a little paranoid. I texted him right away, and I was like, "Yo, my man, we're good." He started laughing. He's like, "No, I knew you were joking," and I was like, "Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure, bro. I don't want to be
That's
at a
terrifying.
spot, and then he comes. I heard you were talking."
no.
Wait, what did he tweet at you?
Because remember I said he knows nothing about jiu-jitsu. Turns out he's been training, and I guess he does know about jiu-jitsu.
Oh, okay.
Speaking about being huge and knowing how to do jiu-jitsu, John Jones.
Crazy fight.
Dude, his turnaround kick and just getting him right in the stomach, it sounded like somebody shot him with a shotgun.
Yeah.
And I can't help but to think like, what would happen if we were like somewhere and we just chirped? Because you know boys could be boys, right? We're at a bar, we're having a few drinks.
We don't drink, but we'll be having water. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying is boys, like people drink. I don't drink. Divij doesn't drink ever since the show.
I used to.
I'm not drinking for the rest of the year, so
Yeah.
this doesn't work anymore.
So imagine we were drinking though, and we come across a dude at the bar and we're chirping, and it's John Jones.
No.
Like all three of us. Even if all three of us were like, this guy gotta go. Like, he don't go nowhere. We go. We go straight into the ground. Like,
Yeah.
dude, it's crazy that like a human being could walk around in the room. Like, what kind of
And he
confidence
just
is
looks,
that?
he's just a regular looking guy.
He's so nice. He has a smile on his face.
Nice mustache.
Yeah, he's a cool
You never
dude.
know.
He kind of looks
Breaking
like
ribs.
Kanye. He looks like a bigger version of Kanye. He's got like the beard and stuff.
That's a take.
That is a take.
I don't.
I don't
to see a
agree with that
picture.
take. You know what it is? It's if Kanye's ego was a human being. I think that's who John Jones is.
Interesting.
You know what I want to know?
Maybe we take that part out. That didn't even really make sense. What did you say?
You know what I want to know? Like, do these fighters, the ones that do MMA, do they have stomach problems? Because like they're getting kicked.
She's like, do they get colonoscopies?
It's so
Oh my gosh, like they get kicked in the gut. Like their stomach's not about to be okay.
I love women's take on the UFC.
That's a fair
good
point.
question. That is I've never thought of that in my
Has
entire
anyone
life.
ever peed in the octagon?
Right.
Belle,
Right.
that hurt
I mean, I
me
would
so
assume they
bad.
would just pee.
Right. All right, relax, Amanda. Calm down. No, yeah, like I just
Has to.
right? Getting punched. That's my worst fear, by the way. Do you know that's an actual fear of mine? Because like, dude, nothing's worse than like having a full bladder and somebody like in you about to throw down. Nothing's worse. Like if you knocked me out, that's cool. I tried. You knocked me out. You won. You got the best of me. But if you kick me in my stomach and I piss or shit, that's so embarrassing.
Is
You
it
can't
an
bounce back from that.
Is it an urban myth that you like defecate when you get knocked out sometimes?
Yeah, no, that happens.
Because your body all your muscles relax.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good. That's what I was gonna say. Against that is that I don't think that you would pee because your adrenaline is going so fast that your body's in like fight mode. So I think your bladder is like, okay, we're taking a rest. Like I don't think your body's able to even relax to pee. So only if you were to pass out.
well, when you die, you pee and poop.
Yeah, but only if you got knocked out,
For
not
real?
during the fight.
Like as you're dying, you pee and poop at that moment.
Yeah, get flushed out.
I'm just thinking about the difference in last week's episode compared to this week's episode right now. And it's pretty
Yeah.
awesome, dude.
Reed, you're
Just
making
killed
it
the
weird,
confidence of like because
Do you pee and poop when Let's take a step back for a second.
so funny. All right, I'll change the subject because obviously Reed,
I'm not saying we should change it. I
obviously,
love it, bro.
Reed
This
is
is my
upset.
language.
Reed is upset. We were going to change it. We moved to Arizona, and there's a lot of coyotes.
Oh.
A lot of coyotes. And I've learned a lot about coyotes. I always lived in Arizona, but I never lived where I was. And where I am is very secluded. It's in the desert. And if you don't know when they howl at the moon, sometimes they sound like little kids laughing from far away.
Yeah.
And then random like, oh, and then like just a bunch of like
And
it's
some
like,
of them have a beautiful howl, and some of them you're like, it's
Oh.
eerie.
Are you sure these are coyotes?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in the backyard the first time. It's in the dark. I'm just looking at the stars. You know when you're in a dark place and it's just, the stars are just beaming.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this is so peaceful. And then I hear those like cackling laughs, and I'm like, I'm going inside. This is creepy. First was hearing them. The second was seeing them. Like when we're pulling in, it's not like 1, 2. It's literally like 50
Yeah,
of
they're
them.
big packs.
Dang.
It's so many. And I always try to pet them. Always try to pet them. Belle yells at me. I always try to pet them. I don't know why. I feel like they will smell that I'm not in danger.
They'll bite you.
Yeah, they'll try to bite
Yeah.
me. But
No,
when
coyotes are scared of humans, so they wouldn't even try to come at you.
no, they'll
Right.
come. If they're in packs.
Maybe if they're together, but if
Yeah,
not,
yeah, yeah.
alone.
They're like gangsters, you know, like gangsters by themselves. They're like, just wait till my crew comes around. And if their crew's around, they're like, oh, you got a bad day, buddy. Did you check in? That's what they're saying to me in the
You
desert.
check in?
They're in the desert. They're like, I heard you moved in, but did you check in? And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't check in. But yeah, we'll cut around that joke. And basically, one of my loved ones, my friends and family, they came over and they were distraught and they were like freaking out. My other cousin was like laughing and I'm like, what's going on? They're like, so-and-so hit a coyote on the way here. And I'm like, what? They're like, dude, it came out of nowhere. And she's like freaking out. She's panting. The front of her dash is broken.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, oh man. So I turned to her and I go, well, what about the coyote? And she goes, what do you mean? I just left. I was like, I just kept going. And I go, you didn't check to make sure the coyote's like good? Like either like put it down or like figure this out? And she was scared. She's like, I was too scared. I didn't get out. So I went back and I found the coyote on the side of the street and it was in a lot of pain. And it's sitting, I'm not going to get too graphic, but it looked like it got hit by a car and it was in pain. And when I came up next to it, it's bleeding from the mouth, but it's looking at me and it's freaking out. And in my eyes, I'm like, oh no, this coyote from its nature thinks I'm going to eat it because like, think about it. That's their nature. They live in the wild. So Jessica is on the phone and she's trying to call like people to see if like somebody could come and help and nobody's coming. Like no vets, no nothing. They're like, it's a wild animal. We're not touching it. And that hurt me because I'm like, dude, like there has to be somebody that handles these things. Mm-hmm. So we waited a long, long time. Jessica, thank God's with me. So she's calling everybody's calling everybody. So finally I said, hey, go to the volunteer shelters, like something that like does for wildlife. We found one. And they were like, they got on the phone and they were like, hey, Gandalf is coming. And I was like, huh?
There's no way they said that.
Dog, I'm not exaggerating. She goes, where's your location? I tell them my location. She goes, Gandalf is on their way. And I have it on camera because I'm recording this. I'm like, just to clarify, you are actually saying Gandalf. And she goes, yes. And I'm like, fair enough. Just wanted to make sure. She's like, he's going to be there in 20, 30 minutes. And I said, okay, I'll just be right next to this animal. So I know that this animal is going through a lot of pain and it's freaking out that I'm there. So I'm like, everybody, the people on the phone, the cops, the hospital, my sister, my mom, everybody's like, George, do not touch this animal. Leave it alone. I don't listen to every single one of them. I literally go and I'm like just massaging its head. And it's looking at me freaking out. And finally it like realizes like, okay, like I keep whispering good things.
You're
like,
not a threat.
It's okay. Like, we're going to help you. We're going to help you. And I just keep just petting its head like this, just rubbing its head. And bro, it's such a weird feeling. An animal that's like from the, like just wild, but it's looking at you with such fear and then finally relax. It just looks like my dog, bro. Like how could more people not pull over? And how could like, it to me, it just doesn't make sense. A lot of people are like, well, it's just a wildlife, but it's like, bro, it's a life. Mm-hmm. I'm petting this this animal and I'm with it. And finally, bro, it finally relaxes and it's looking at me and it looks at me like it feels like it's like finally like, okay. I hear a car close. Now it's nighttime and I could only see a silhouette of a man with a hoodie and a beard this long. And I'm like, there's no way. And out comes a huge staff, like a staff taller than him like this. And he comes out and you just see the light hit his face. And I go, are you Gandalf? And he goes, I am Gandalf. And I was like, okay.
way.
I was like, all right, Gandalf has come to like save the day. Gandalf might be a hero and also kind of mean because it's obviously this thing got hit and it's like grabbing and throwing it. I go, hey man, its bones are broken. You want to be kind with it? But yeah, Gandalf came and saved the day, put him in a crate. And if I could ever save a deer and grow up with a baby deer, that's all I ask.
They're so
That's all I
cute.
want. If anybody could gift me anything, it's a baby deer.
My fantasy is a raccoon. You see those raccoon videos, bro?
where they have
course.
hands.
Oh, when they're like on like this with their tummy and they're like,
Yeah.
Imagine Netflix and chilling. You, your girl, and a raccoon.
bro. Honestly, get rid of my girl.
Just you and the
Just give me a raccoon and I'm good, dog.
They're so sweet, man.
They look like little thieves.
Yeah.
I was literally telling Georgie this yesterday. I was like, it physically pains me. Like when you see like such a cute animal, like such like, and you know that you're never going to be able to see that animal in person and just kiss his head.
Yeah.
Like it gives me pain because they're just so cute,
I almost
Yeah.
kissed the coyote.
No, you did.
I bet you did.
On the lips?
Not on the lips.
Okay, good. That would be worse.
I was really praying that like this coyote was good, but God forbid the worst case scenario. I just wanted the life that was in front of me to know that like we're not going to eat you.
Mm-hmm.
You're in good hands, and like at least his last heartbeats are like in a peaceful state.
Yeah.
Because I know it's a wild animal. A lot of people could think of it that way. Honestly, bro, I'm not gonna lie. It did traumatize me because like I don't know how people go hunting for fun. I really don't, man. And I know that
Yeah.
a lot of people are gonna be upset with me or call me names or you're not a man. But to me, it's like, bro, that's a life. It's literally a life. Like there is things around it that love it, that's with it. Like it has feelings, it has fear.
You're playing God by deciding what gets to live and what gets to die.
It's just
like
so,
that's
but how could you? I'll never forget the day that somebody killed an animal in front of me for the first time ever. I was with, I'm not going to mention who it is, but the person was like, hey, we got a lot of bunnies outside. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, and he pulls out a gun and he goes, you want to go kill one? And I was like, there was a bunch of men and they're all like, yeah. And bro, that day changed my life forever because he shot the bunny, but the bunny didn't die. And it
Yeah.
just started
Oh my gosh.
screaming till this day. I could hear that bunny screaming till this day. So like in my mind, bro, how could you gear up your son to go and watch this type of behavior or like do this type of, if you're gonna, by the way, if you're gonna eat it, if you're doing it to eat
That's
it,
different.
that's a different story. That's nature, right? Because
Yeah.
they would do that to us if they're hungry.
and we eat meat every day that we get from the supermarket. We're just
Yeah.
completely disconnected from taking the life, but we get to benefit from the life being
yeah.
taken.
At least this, like that animal had a full life and happy life, and then you're
Yes.
taking it on a good note and you're using it for food.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it just for joy, people go just as a sport, and then they take their kids. And when you think about it, I was telling this George the other day, I'm like, we all actually fight against our nature. Like when you go hunting for the first time, everybody's fighting against their nature to enjoy it. You're actually
Yeah.
scared and you feel bad. So it's like you're making yourself like desensitized from it and not be sad about it.
Yeah.
You know? Like what a weird thing that we want to be a part of.
You know
Very
what gets me
strange.
sick though is my girlfriend goes and she like hunts deers when she goes back home. They rub the blood of the deer on their face like
that's
they're like
badass.
Native
That's
Americans
badass.
as like
I'm
a
sorry.
as like a marker.
Wait,
of,
really?
like,
That's badass, bro.
Wait, I want to
It's
talk about this. You actually
terrifying.
think that's cool?
That's, I mean, would I do it? But that's badass.
Why would they do that though?
it's just like a way of like marking like I just killed a deer. It's like ownership over the deer.
Oh,
think
wait, it's
terrible.
after they kill it.
Yeah, they kill it
Okay,
and
I
they
thought
get
it was
the
like
blood
to
and
get
they
in the
rub it on
mode
face.
of like they buy deer blood and then they put it on this. They're like, let's go
No.
kill a
Deer
deer.
blood?
They shoot
Let's
the
go
deer
kill
and
a
they grab
deer.
the blood and
Reed,
they put
you
it on
should
their face.
seriously think about seeing a therapist.
Yeah.
Just like
not letting
buying
a
blood just
raccoon-
to smear to go to war.
It's not, no judgment because we never know like how somebody's brought up and like that's their culture and that's what they've been taught and whatnot. But I guess it's just like when you think about it, like us humans' actions are so like, it's just so much like pride, like you want to kill a life and then you want to show that you killed that life. You took the living breath from that body and you're walking around with its blood on you.
I think it's disgusting. I can't even
breaks my
kill
heart.
ants. Like if I see ants running around, I will not even step on the ant. I'm like, I'm gonna walk around you.
Yeah.
Because it's life.
It's life, bro.
Yeah.
It's so weird that we think this way. It's so weird because some people are like, bro, what are you talking about? I think a magnifying glass and just light them on fire. But think about the difference of human beings' hearts, right? Like there's a guy that's like you, like just a nice Indian man tiptoeing around these ants. And then there's this white guy with just like a flannel shirt, blood across thing. There's a magnifying glass and the sun is just lighting. These ants are like, ah! Like they're just burning.
I like this new version of you because like before you had this house in the desert, you were like nature you did not mess with. I remember when we shot the Heart of David music video. We shot it out in a field, and I was like, "Yeah, if you could just like kind of wrap along to it out in this grass." And you're like, "Ooh, how long is that grass?" And I'm like, "Oh, maybe like 8 inches, a foot." And you're like, "Ooh, there could be snakes and stuff in there, man." I was
No,
like,
that's
"Bro,
still scary.
Yeah,
what?
but he
Grass this tall?
No, well they do hide in there, but
What's it gonna do?
But also, yeah, you know what it is? It's just not knowing. It's the fear of not knowing. Because
Yeah.
now I play with snakes and scorpions in the desert all the time.
Yes.
Because I'm like, oh, I like understand this. Speaking of this is actually going to segue into the next thing I'm going to talk about. My mom is watching my dog and cat. So my mom and dad. But my mom's sending me videos of her playing with Tommy. And bro, I don't know if anybody relates to this, but if you grew up in a home where your mother wanted nothing to do with dogs, not in the house. Well, my mom got attacked when she was younger. So she has like this really big fear of dogs. And also she'll tell you, she's like, it's not that I fear them, is I'm disgusted by them. I don't want them to be around me. They have a lot of hair, they have a lot of dirt, they slobber. And also I'm scared. And so I grew up in a house where I always ask my mom, please, can I have like a dog? And she's like, listen, you can have a dog in your house, not in my house. And then when I got my own house, she was like, you're not getting a dog there because I want to come visit you. And I was like, so when I got a dog, I had to be very quick and sneaky about it. And watching a dog this is so weird. And I really hope that a lot of people get to do this. If you have a mom and her dad that don't like dogs, get them a dog. And I'll tell you why. Because they need to grow. They need to grow. Because watching my mom play with a dog and watching her laugh like a little girl, like running around and like, by the way, they have like a relationship where they don't touch each other because she doesn't like to touch him because she's still like kind of like freaked out or like kind of grossed out by hair and stuff like that. But he'll come and lick her now. Like he'll just come and lick her and run away. And they literally have a game together. Well, like every time she's not looking, he'll try to touch her.
Does she lick him back?
No. No, that would be I would ask for my dog back. I'd be like, you're not watching my dog no more. But no, it's really cool watching my mom like play with a dog. It's like I never thought I would ever see that. And my mom's in her, like she's older than me. She's like my mom. So, but watching her still learn and grow, I get to see her as a child, get excited, get like, and that's when I realized, like, if you stop growing, that's when you start dying. It's not your age, it's your ability to stop growing. If you feel like you're content and you don't want to grow, because my mom could have easily been like, George, get somebody else to watch your dog.
Yeah.
But she loves me so much, she's like, oh, I love this dog. And then they grew an attachment together. Now, she's playing with him outside, catch. She's running in the park with him. She's taking him on walks. I never, ever thought in my life I'd ever see this. And I'm so happy I get to see this. And like a lot of people wouldn't push their mom and dad to do that. Like even my sister was like, no, don't do that, don't bother. But I'm like, no, it's good for her. She needs to like experience this. On my 30th birthday, I said, Mom, I want one gift from you. Mm-hmm. And she's like, what? I go, I want you to pet my dog. And she's like, no, I can't do that. And I was like, no, Mom, I need you to pet my dog. That's all I want for my 30th birthday. I want you to pet my dog. And watching her pet my dog, I could like, bro, like have you ever seen a little kid get like scared of like touching a dog and then they get excited and they like kind of want to keep doing it. It's like I got to see the childlike heart in her.
It was so sweet. She was like, oh, it was so soft, because Tommy is like soft like a bunny, man. Mm-hmm. He's so soft. I'm glad that like, she got to like pet a dog for the first time and it was so like, so sweet, so soft.
Yeah, it's a golden doodle. So it's honestly a cheat code. If you don't like a golden doodle, you might be a psychopath.
Yeah,
again, like also, Tommy's such a good boy. He knows to like to not, when he greets her, he gets really excited around her, but he doesn't jump on her or touch her. When he can hear her through the door and she'll be like, Tommy, step back, and he'll literally step back and sit down. That's like
animals are so much smarter than we give them credit for.
So smart.
Cats especially. I feel like cats are like actually probably the smartest animals out there.
They play hard to get.
Totally. Does your mom like Leo?
No, he's not
hates
allowed in the
cats.
house.
Dang.
It's so messed up. I feel so bad. I feel so bad about that because I feel like Leo knows. Because like like we'll bring him to my mom and dad's house, and they're like, oh, and then the cat, they're like, hi, cat, and I'm like, oh. And by the way, my dad's sexist, bro, because he just keeps calling my cat a girl, and I'm like, bro, it's Leo, 5 years, Leo. He goes, but it's Pussycat.
It's like, she's hungry.
Yeah, she's hungry. Come on, feed her. And by the way, I find that so funny. My parents don't want nothing to do with the cat, but they always step in to make sure Middle Easterns will always make sure you're hungry. Like if you're hungry, they'll smell it out of you. They always get mad. Belle, the first time we ever got in an argument, she was like, dude, you got to stop telling your parents like to checking on like Tommy if he's hungry. It's like annoying. It's insulting. I feed my dog. I go, hey man, they're Middle Eastern. You could be wiping your mouth done, putting a plate down, and they'll be like, are you hungry? Why you not eat?
Why you not eat?
Okay, cool. Let's do a recap, guys, because I feel like I want to talk to you guys. How do you feel this podcast shifted within the past, like, year and a half, 2 years now? We're coming up on 2 years soon, yeah?
What was everybody's favorite episode of the year?
Oh.
I know mine.
You know yours?
You know yours already?
Go for it. Shoot.
Russell Brand.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. Because it was just such a surreal, moment. Like it's somebody that I've watched since I was a kid, that I love his work. I think he's so funny. And I think that apart from that as well, he's had such a spiritual journey, somebody to go from such heartache, some trouble. Like when I got to learn about what he's been through, it wrecked me, broke my heart. And then now to see him shine and evolve in the way that he is, and like, it was just so amazing. And to have this like cool conversation with him, it was so much fun.
He was, it's so funny. I think he was the most intimidating one that we were kind of going up against, because we're like, dude, what is this guy going to be like? And let's just put it this is the best way I could put him. He sent me a voice note once. It was 3 minutes long of him singing to me. By the way, this is Russell Brand, by the way, singing to me, and then like intertwining it perfectly, ending it with a prayer over me and my future wife. And I was done. Listen, I was like, I never thought in my life I'd ever get a voice note, let alone a song / prayer. When you look at this man and when you talk to him on camera, off camera, it literally looks like a child that's still learning and so excited to be better and like follow God, and it's so inspiring. It's very rare where you meet somebody where it makes you want to be a better person, and I definitely put him in that category.
He was also one of the most high like echelon of guests we've had on of status wise, and I remember when we met him afterwards, just when he like looked in my eyes and asked what my name was, and I said, I'm Reed, and he's like, Russell, and we made eye contact and shook hands. Bro, there's something in his eyes that he is so present
Yes.
and in tune with being a human on this earth.
Yeah.
That like, I don't know if I've ever experienced anything
Yeah,
quite
no,
like
no,
it.
Yeah.
it's
And that was simply from a handshake and a hello.
Yeah.
It was
Totally.
it was like
That was like definitely
different.
one of the things that like made me just like him and like that experience even more, because he doesn't care about, everything else in the status and everything. He just wants to be there with you in the moment and like appreciates you as a person.
Yeah, I pray that he has like a lot of peace, man. Yeah. I pray that him and his family have a lot of peace and joy, because he's just, you could tell, bro, like he's just one of those people that you meet and is a one of a kind human being.
yeah.
100%. I kept flashing back to Get Him to the Greek, the movie.
I never watched it.
You got to see it.
I never watched. What do you mean? We've talked about
You
this.
got to see it.
I've never watched it.
Oh my gosh.
He's the same person.
I watched Forgetting Sarah Marshall. That was the first time I ever like saw him, and to me that was hilarious. Before I tell you guys my favorite episode, what was your guys' favorite episode? Like,
I know mine. Mine is actually by like a lot. It was Barbara O'Neill. Because I feel like obviously being there and seeing.
I
the
like this
environment-
episode. This is so cool, bro. That's
totally.
awesome. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I got so excited.
Just like the nature, the place that she lives, like the whole experience. I mean, I think the cool thing about what we do is being able to travel and see these different places,
Yeah.
right? Like we went to Romania with Andrew Tate and whatnot. But I think with Barbara, just like you could feel this amount of peace in Wyoming, I think it was.
We were right next to Amish people. Like
Yeah.
no,
Literally down the street.
No exaggeration. Her neighbors that we were waving at were turning butter. Like no joke. Like, and by the way, like it was a breathtaking scenery. Breathtaking scenery. The day before you even pulled up, we all went for a drive.
Yeah.
And we went to all these farms, and like deers were running around. Like every picture that I posted, it was like an art piece. And I was like, the first is last and the last is first. So like the people that are minimalistic, they have this beauty. But you know what's so funny? I sit there and I give a monologue about how we should throw all of our things away and stay here and live here and this is such a beautiful place. And then you just hear Reed go, but dude, this place would be so boring after a while. And then as soon as he said that, I was
That's
like,
coming from somebody that grew up in a small town.
Yeah.
and then I was like, we went to the movie theater. It was closed at 6. I was like, I can't do this place.
Yeah.
This is impossible for me. This is no way. What about you, Reed? What was your favorite episode?
I think just because it was like the end to a chapter, Bobby Lee. I think the Bobby Lee episode was. I remember
all
when
of
we
these were
started,
this year, bro.
crazy year. I remember when we started the show. Just when we were like daydreaming about guests, and it's like, bro, who knows where we'll get? You know,
Yeah.
we're having our guests on, and we're trying to figure out like what our energy is and who we want to be in the podcast space. Be like, dude, imagine we get Bobby Lee on or something like that. It's like, yeah, shut up, dude.
Reed would say that all the time. Hey, I know it might be impossible, but
And
you should
because
really
also
reach
you
out
were-
to Bobby Lee.
Also, not just because it would be so incredible, but because you were also still so upset with him.
Oh.
like I'd say, like, bro, we got to get Bobby Lee, and you'd be like, don't even talk about him, dude. Don't even talk about him. Like anytime you'd say something about him, I'm like, you should resolve it on the podcast. You should get him on.
Yeah.
But I also just I love when we have comedians on, and I think you guys are both so different, but both so authentically yourselves. That like it was awkward but hilarious because it was awkward,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
nobody compromised to like being the other person wanted them to be. And it was like him grilling you on your favorite movies was
Yeah.
so funny, bro.
So funny.
So
The
funny.
prayer too, when you guys got on your
prayer,
knees.
it
Yeah,
was-
that was
I
beautiful.
watched that a lot, that clip, because that clip was, I didn't think it was going to go there.
Yeah.
Bobby also is in the realms of authentic. Like
Very.
on the complete opposite spectrum of Russell Brand, because Russell's more like innocent, childlike. Bobby's like a teenager kid, like that just found out about all the dirty jokes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and he just loves saying them. But when you talk to him and you do feel that sincerity, you could feel he has a big heart. Like, so yeah, Bobby Lee was one of like the coolest ones for sure.
Also, what an episode, because it's like how many times you get to have a cool guest, but also you guys had to resolve conflict and you had to talk about a very real situation that people saw unfold online, and then you got to like resolve that together and on an episode for people. Like,
It's
you know?
cool. I was talking about all this, but I can only imagine what it's like being an audience member and seeing that episode in your subscription feed. Yeah. The Bobby Lee interview uploaded by George Janko. And it's like, wait, are they going to talk about it? And then you go to it in the first 2 minutes, they're talking about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Like, I love that about podcasting, you know, like it's not this late night talk show. Like, oh, these are the trending things we talk about. It's just like real conversations.
Yeah.
Also, it's like there was no banter between you guys before you guys sat
No,
down. Like you
no.
immediately came
Yeah.
and sat down,
And he
you guys
said,
just
let's
got
do
into
it. Like, yeah, I remember that. That was intimidating, bro. He walked in by himself, belly and all. And he was just like, let's do this. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, okay. That was pretty cool. Before I tell you guys my favorite guest, I just want to say like my favorite part about this whole podcast is like I got to go watch just like season 1 of Who I Was. And this show has helped me grow so much as a human being. Like, God has blessed me with not only a career that I'm just so excited about, but a career that could hold me accountable to be a better human being. And coming from Impulsive was so scary. And then like coming out here and doing my own thing, who I was when I started isn't who I am now. Who I was before was a very scared individual, put the blame on people, like didn't know how to confront a problem, had a lot of faith, but didn't put it in the right thing. And like watching like who I was, and just because of being held accountable, like watching the comments and saying, okay, you know what, they're right. I am like maybe talking too much, or maybe I am trying to make a joke when I'm uncomfortable. It made me realize these parts of myself that I need work on. And it's very humbling and so freeing. So just overall, the podcast in general is just, out of all the work I've ever done in my life, the podcast has definitely been one to help me be a better man, a better husband, a better friend. It kept me accountable. When you turn on a mic, when you turn on a camera and you have a conversation, you can't hide from what you said and did and behaved like. And there's a lot of things that I wish I could go back and redo. Like the mic episode, like I wish I could go back because I saw arrogance in that man. I saw pride in that man. I saw a man who wasn't ready to have that conversation, who was still blaming and not resolving and still trying to be, look at me, I'm still standing while you guys threw rocks. And if I could go back, I would rather just get to know Mike a little bit more and more apologetic. And so I'm excited to see me keep growing. And I pray that God positions my heart to be a man who learns instead of a man who thinks he has it all figured out. And I guess my favorite episode was the Robert Kennedy one.
Ooh.
I was not expecting that.
The reason why it was is because my mom's side of the family were all named after the Kennedys. And when I came to this country, when they came to this country. When I came to this country.
That would have been so cool, though,
Yeah,
bro.
right? Yeah. But being a first generation American, like telling my mom, hey, I'm going to shoot this episode in your house out of respect because I know how much the Kennedys are. And it just threw me in a weird like feeling because when I was a kid, I would come and be like, Mom, I'm going to do the talent show, or Mom, I'm going to perform at this thing. And my parents would always gather with me trying to help me do that. And when I came to them, I said, hey, Robert Kennedy's, we're going to shoot it at your house. And she was like, I'm going to have dinner. And I was like, listen, Mom, I don't think Robert Kennedy is going to sit and eat your food. He probably thinks you poisoned it. Like, you're not going to sit here. And plus, we're mad Middle Eastern, bro. We're mad Middle Eastern. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. And she's like, no, I'm going to do it. And as an adult running like a business, I'm not going to argue with my mom because I was like, you know what? Like, what she like did growing up is what made me even be able to be here. So I'm not going to say no to her. Like, let her go with her spirit. Robert Kennedy, we wrap up the episode and my mom goes, we have dinner. And he goes, do you guys have baklava? And she
No
goes,
way.
yes, we do. We have baklava. And she goes, but first we're going to have dinner and do this. And he goes, and tea? And she goes, yeah, tea. And we're sitting at my mom's dinner table with a Kennedy. And my family's sitting there and they're just talking about life as if like this is normal. And I'm sitting here and I go, my God, where have you placed me where my voice even matters this much, let alone having somebody at that stature sitting in our home talking and breaking bread. The reason why that episode meant a lot to me is because God told me, he goes, if you humble yourself, if you don't become arrogant, if you become willing to learn in front of people, I'll put you in seats where you do not deserve to be. As long as you glorify my name, you'll be able to be there. And so that episode to me was like, I'm ready to, do something for America. I'm ready to help my neighbor. And the first step is to honor my God, listen to his directions, and then move. And so that was the episode for me where I was like, wow, we could really do something special if we humble ourselves and work like kids. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but like children, we have to work.
I love that. Well,
What a year.
What a year, dude. What a year.
I do want to touch on something you said though. I think the reason that you've, at least from my perspective, because we've obviously all seen you guys I've seen you all grow, but I think by doing these podcasts, you're putting yourself in an uncomfortable position to some extent because you're sitting down with people that, quite frankly, are important and they're public figures, and you're having open dialogue and you're opening your heart. And I think people at home that are watching that maybe don't have access to those resources of these public figures to speak to, like, you could sit down and have a podcast with your mom or your dad or your sister or your friend and just have a dialogue and turn the cameras on, turn the lights on. And at the end of the day, this is therapy. Like, this could be growth for them personally. They don't have to post it anywhere, but like, you could truly grow from just having a conversation with people.
I mean, dude, it was overwhelming, bro, because like I just said, it's so funny. People want God to give them a direction for them to move. And I've realized that God wants you to move and then he'll give you the direction. It's like to have faith in him. And so I just got up and had great faith in my God and I moved. And so like when I was sitting there and I was talking to my mom, like, back in the day when people would come up to me and be like, yo, I love your videos, it was like, oh, I made them laugh or anything. But like now it's like, I could tell it's doing something way more than making somebody laugh. And when we're selling out these shows and we have a 3-hour long meet and greet and these people are like pouring out their hearts, to me, it was a little daunting. Like, oh man, like I don't want to do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing because remember, I'm always learning. So I don't want people to look at me like, oh, you should follow my example because the example that I'm setting is going to change because I'm learning. And so I asked my mom and I was like, Mom, should I quit and just go preach? Like learn the word of God and go preach. And my mom goes, you're preaching now. And so I just prayed and I asked God, I go, God, like, I need you to put it in my heart because I don't want to walk the wrong direction. Like, what is it that you want? And my biggest fear was being a teacher full of arrogance and pride, being a false teacher, being a wolf and devouring souls by thinking that I'm some God-giving treat to people and then leading them all in the wrong path, because there's a lot of mega churches and pastors that they get told every day, dude, you changed my life. Oh my God, you're so amazing. You're so this, you're so this. It gets to their head and it corrupts them. And so I asked God, I go, God, like for me not to have that happen, should I quit? Because I'm getting way too much like applause. I'm getting way too much stuff out of your glory. Should I quit, learn the word of God, and then come back and then preach and then just do everything, no brand deals, no nothing, just preaching the word of God? Like, what do you want me to do? And it wasn't an audible thing, but God was like, you're doing enough right now just learning and being honest. By saying you're not a teacher and just being a painting that I could paint over and mold in front of the world, that does more than you saying that you got it figured out. And so I just think in my chapter right now, I'm the student that's failing and learning in front of people always. So that way they don't feel ashamed by feeling that like burden of like, oh, I do feel like that. And I do, because there's a lot of households that don't have that ability to have these type of conversations. So I think this season in my life, it's learning and just teaching people what I'm learning. And God willing, one day when he puts that will in my heart, I will stand up. I will preach. I will put everything else away and go forward with the word of God. But as of right now, I just think it'd be better for me to be George, the man who's very curious and loves Jesus and wants his neighbors to succeed, and he loves his God with all of his heart. And all of this being said, he fails every day. And that's okay, because it's not about you. It's about him. And so I pray that that does sit with people. And I'm excited about the future, man. I really am. This is the first time I've ever been in the industry where I'm like excited about the future, not scared of the future. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every day, like, oh, bro, you guys know. Every day before, I was like, what are we gonna do? We're not gonna live. Like, I can't afford these things. I think that this year was incredible. I'm so excited about the next year. Next year, we're going on tour. Next year, we're bringing this 2 states, 2 cities, 2 countries. We're going to grab microphones. We're going to grab conversations and just, we did 2 test runs, bro. Like, look how great God is. The first one, do you guys remember this? Do you remember
Absolutely.
that? We like in Brea, we had 2 shows. The first show we sold like 80%, like 80 or 90%, but last minute, because the week before we sold only the front row. Only the front row. Remember, we were passing out flyers and we're trying to get people to come. And I wasn't angry about it. I was like, okay, this is the beginning. Like, there's no ego. Like, I'll grow. And then God blessed that show to be 80%. It was full. And I was looking around being like, whoa, this is crazy that this is like this full. And then we did our second show and it sold out months before. I didn't even promote it. I said it once on a podcast and like it sold out. And I remember the people that the place that we were performing at, they said they had calls several times a day and a line wrapped around just people waiting for tickets. And I was like, dude, this is insane. I never thought I'd ever be at a place where I could sell like even a show, let alone sell out a show months in advance. That I pray that next year, that when we do these shows, I pray that the live George Janko show is like something everybody's going to be talking about. Even if you don't believe in God, even if you don't like my comedy, even if you don't, but you'll hear about it and it'll encourage you to be like, maybe I should go check this out. And then when they go, I want it to just feel like a bunch of friends are having the best times and like have all of these guest spots. Like how amazing would it be if I'm talking to the crowd about this thing that I learned, and then I turn over my shoulder and I go, hey, Russell, and Russell Brand comes out and we all talk to him, or like, you know, like just like pulling all the relationships that I have. Like maybe somebody in the crowd is talking about like health and they're like, what are we going to do about this health? And we could call Robert now and be like, hey, Robert, you want to come and like talk? Like I pray that they get excited about watching it. I can't wait till I could bring it to their homes where they're just sitting there.
So they
being
can
like,
experience
whoa,
it
bro,
with
like,
us
this
as
is
it's
live.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I went on a huge just like tangent right now, but I'm just very excited about it. And also, bro, it's cool to watch the people around me grow. Like like you two, like you guys are like so inspiring to me. Like you
you,
on
bro.
a whole different level with spirituality, you with your abilities to help me deal with my emotions and learn and grasp from you. And so like, it's cool that this show is not just helping us on scene and for our jobs, but it's like making us better human beings.
Yeah, we're in such a unique position where like so many people everybody does work a 9 to 5 where you're working for a corporation or you're working for something where you put all of your time and energy into it and you don't know exactly where it's going, but you get a sense of purpose because you're doing something and you're ideally making the world a better place. But here it's like everything we do, every time I see you and Belle every single day and I see Divij, it's like I channel energy into you guys and it stays right here. And then you guys give it back and it stays right here. And it's like so unique, I think, to be in such a beautiful environment where it's like we're only lifting each other up. There's no questions on where our energy is going.
Yeah.
It's so unique and we're so blessed to have it.
You know, and this is like, I hope people take this the right way, but God pulled me out of something to show me that I could be here and not behave the way that all of Hollywood's behaving. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like we could be in this industry and not have the industry standard of like self-driven pride where it's like me, not you. I would always have the conversations where like, oh, well, you know, they didn't come out here for me. I understand they're doing their own thing. But being with people that are like caring, like, hey, let me help you with that. And like, we're all in this together type of thing. It's such a better freeing, like it feels more alive when the person next to you is rooting for you rather than pretending to root for you and actually hoping that you don't pass them or like, you know what I mean? Like it's cool to be with people that really want the best for you. And you could tell by their actions.
It can be hard to find.
Yeah.
Very hard to find.
A lot of group of
That's
friends
a big
don't
blessing.
Yeah.
a lot of group of friends don't have people who like lift each other up. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like a lot of people get just a little bit jealous of their friends and like they can't help it. And that's like a normal emotion to have, you
Totally.
know? But if you can like find it in your heart to like put like when you have these feelings about your friends, try and like put yourself on pause and like think about like why do I feel this way? Like why am I jealous? And then just try and like humble yourself to like want what's like best for them, you know?
Yeah.
And then you can have such a like growing and moving beautiful relationship with the people around you.
Yeah, I'm reading a book right now. Sorry to cut you off. It says that we're all a mirror. So like the way that I'm acting is the way that you're going to act to me. It's like when you go outside in public or you're in an elevator and you see someone there. If you're not smiling at them, they're probably not going to smile back. But if we take the action to smile and to compliment the other person and to lift them up and to do those things, like you'll receive it back. And that's how we build community. And also I think people need to like go to church and go to yoga classes, go to peaceful environments where you're going to find the other people that you want to be surrounded by.
Yeah.
You've changed completely since like you've dabbled into the world of spirituality. Like your behavior, your speech, your actions, your relationships, they all became fruitful. And it's cool watching other people come up to me and be like, yo, Divij is like awesome, bro. Like how he's talking. And so it's cool to see that. It's motivating to see that. Mm-hmm. Also, I would like to say that all of us here pray for each other. Like we really do. Mm-hmm. And there's a Bible verse that I want to share with you guys. There's a story that a bunch of friends lowered down this paralyzed man for Jesus to heal him. And the context of that story is that man could have never done it himself. He was wrapped up in sin and he was paralyzed. He couldn't do anything. But the reason why he received that miracle is because his friends prayed for him. And his friends brought him to God. So like, if you're angry with your friend and you're like, why would my friend treat me like that? I would never treat him like that. Well, then be blessed that you have wisdom and present that to your God and say, hey, you know, like so-and-so's treating me this way and that's not right. And instead of me retaliating, I pray that you change and soften his heart. And that does happen. And I noticed it here, bro. Like I really did notice it here. My sister works for me. My wife works for me. My friends work for me. And everybody always goes against that. Don't have your wife work for you. Don't have your sister work for you. Don't have your friends work for you. It managed to work out beautifully because we didn't put ourselves in the front focus. We put God in the front focus. And so.
No, this is literally like all God. Like I have no, I'm not good enough to be here, to be in the seat. Like I don't have the training. I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the years of experience to even be like sitting down with people that like I get to sit down with and you know what I mean? Like I'm nowhere near like shaped up enough, you know what I mean? To be having these conversations. but like God has like put it in my life to even be able to be in these rooms and to learn from people, and people give me grace to like, you know what I mean, to like mess up and to maybe say stupid things or to not say stupid things. And it's like, it's so like humbling, and I truly like have to say like I don't deserve any of it, and like I'm not like, you know what I mean, how could I even be sitting with you having these conversations with people? Like never did I think in a million years that I would be doing that. And so it's like, it's so clear to me that it's like, it's literally, it's all God's glory, because like he's put it there for me. You know what I mean? Like I didn't do any of this to like, you know what I mean?
It's good to have that heart. I feel like none of us are like deserving, but it's
Absolutely.
better to look at a situation and be like, wow, I can't believe I'm here. Thank you. Rather than like, I deserve more. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we all succeed so well together, is because you say that, but we all look at you, be like, what are you talking about, bro?
Yeah.
You're beautiful. You're smart. You're wise. The way you speak, we rooting you on. But it's such a beautiful heart, and it makes sense why you have the fruit you have, is because that's the attitude you should have. You shouldn't walk into a room being like, not only do I deserve this, but I deserve more. And like, I encourage you to keep having that heart. And if you keep looking at it like that, you'll keep winning the way you are. And I told Belle, like I was very honest. We're very honest with each other. Everybody called me and said, don't have Belle on your show. Everybody. Every single person I had. And I said, no, trust me, because me and Belle would go on a road trip and wouldn't listen to music. And I'm listening to this girl speak sometimes. And I'm like, my goodness, the brain on this woman is impeccable. And I knew it's going to be a little bumping in the beginning because she's nervous and all that stuff. But watching the comments being like, God, I love when Belle speaks. Or, you know, honestly, my favorite comments are like, George, shut up. Stop talking over her. And I'm like, good, nice. Like they're seeing what I see. And what I see is a woman who's hungry to learn, who's not feared, has faith. And above all her beauty, she's humble. For you to be up in that light, I'm glad, because now you're reflecting on other young women that they're going to be like, oh, I don't have to sell my body. I don't have to be a brat. I don't have to act like everything should be handed to me, because look at the way Shawna's working, like, and she's having a great time and she has a good relationship. So
Well said.
I think,
Well, thank you.
I think this is and you know what? I'll say this now. I've been telling her, I see a spin-off show with her.
I'm waiting.
Yeah,
I'm waiting.
I see her doing her own show. Like, and by the way, not leaving this show. She'll always be on the show. But
Because of the contract and everything.
yeah, yeah. Once she gives me 2 babies, the contract's up. It's like a mixtape with albums. You know what I mean? Like, you give me 5 babies or 5 albums, whichever you want. No, I see her doing her own thing in a more feminine way.
Absolutely.
Where she grabs her own co-host and they do their own girl audience attraction type of platform. I pray it's a biblical one, or it could be whatever you want. And mind you, she's never brought this up to me. I just see it.
It would be a lot of fun, but who knows? Who knows what's in store? I'm just
It'll
kinda
happen when it's meant to be.
Going, exactly. And just going with the flow. You know, I think like all you can do is keep moving forward and just be grateful for the position that you're in. And you can't always control everything around you. And we all have ideas and hopes for what we want our lives to be like. And it might not always go that way, but if you just trust the process and you just go with it, your life will be even more beautiful than you have imagined, you know?
Bro, how do we go from like, this is what happens, bro. I can never just have like a podcast where I'm just like either having a bunch of fun or I'm talking. So I'm
I
like
made one joke. I made one joke.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
There's one thing I wanted to say today, just because there were so many like scary news that came out in the news today, you know, with war and everything. And I think that when we're afraid and when we're in fear, sometimes our emotions are hard to control. And when we are in fear, we lash out at people around us and we don't know how to react. And I think that the one thing I like learned and I read today, it was in John, is to love one another as he has loved you. And when we love each other so much and we love and we serve each other with so much generosity, then we are showing what Jesus is like. Therefore, we are showing what God is like. And if we can do that for each other, then maybe we can all have more peace and have more light in our lives. And so I know that this might be a stressful time for a lot of people right now, but if you can just try and remember to just, all you have to do is love each other, love on each other around you, do what you can to make each other's lives easier and better, like you'll have so much more peace. Mm-hmm. And then by doing that, and as Christians, you'll show everybody Jesus' light. And that's like the best thing that you can do right now when times are scary and dark and
Amen.
crazy.
Amen.
Well said.
Yeah, very well said. Very, very well said. Right after she was like, I don't think I'm deserving. I don't think and then just knocks out a
You just,
monologue.
come on, man.
Just-
Looked into the camera.
And she had like, the Trump thing where she's like handing out, people are just mesmerized looking at her like, wow. Yeah, man. I like this episode. It's very like relaxed. You know what's so funny? Sometimes I like, that was a fear of mine, is like, if I don't deliver him the best piece of content, then just don't deliver it. Like don't fail. And I put the pressure on me so much that I built this conclusion that all of the success is based off of my performance. And it's not.
Wow.
It's not. So like, I appreciate everybody, man. I'm really, really grateful. And I pray that this podcast gets, I'm just going to pray that the podcast gets wherever Jesus wants it to be. And, I think this is it for today's episode. Unless you guys want to bring up anything.
Spirit Airlines went bankrupt.
I have one last piece of. Maybe we just end
That was
it.
my one note.
No. You have to keep going.
I have a last piece of wisdom. I've been trying to write every day because it's something that matters a lot to me because I want to be a writer director. But for some reason, has always been the scariest thing in the world. I don't know why, but just like sitting down to a blank piece of paper and writing. It's so terrifying. And I've been doing it. I've been really good at it the last couple of days. And today, I hadn't for the last 2 days. I've been doing it for a week or two. And the last 2 days I didn't. And today it was like, maybe I don't need to do it. And I realized that it's only scary if you don't do it. Because when you don't do it, then all of a sudden, it's scary because of this and that. And all of a sudden it's turning into this big thing in my head when in reality, all I have to do is take a pen and write on a piece of paper. And it's so easy. Like, it's literally the easiest thing in the world. I'm just writing. I'm not even thinking. I'm just like straight brain to words. And then I'll review it and be like, wow, I wrote something. But it's only scary if you don't do it.
It's like the snakes and scorpions thing. It's like what you don't know.
Exactly. And that translates to everything in your life. That translates to working out. That translates to talking to strangers. That translates to calling your parents. It's only scary if you don't do it.
Wow. Thank you, Reed.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Bro, how cool is it that we could just sharpen each other? Like,
Love it, bro.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of people have podcasts, and don't get me wrong, like to each his own, however you want to like demonstrate your art. But like, what a cool thing to have where we're just consistently sharpening each other and calling each other out. Like, nah, I don't feel like that. Or like, that's a good idea. Like, you should do that. And so like watching everybody around me grow like this is so inspiring, dude. It's so inspiring.
100%. That made me think of like something Paul Saladino said. I say this all the time. He said like, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. And
She says that to everybody. By the way.
That's such a bar, though.
She comes up to people at the
is a bar.
grocery store. They're like, "Oh, sorry, I put the eggs on the bottom." And she's like, "Listen, you know what Paul Saladino said? Don't let perfection be the enemy of good." And I'm like,
So
"Oh, how many people are you
But
gonna tell this
it's
to?"
so true. I haven't said it on the podcast, and it's true because it sounds so simple and like, okay. But it's so true when you think about it because I used to put things off because they weren't at the perfect time or at the perfect moment. This is a very stupid example, but I'm going to say it anyways. Like, I want to drink lemon water or celery juice on an empty stomach in the morning. But then I'd have a cup of coffee and a little snack, and I said, it's not going to be on an empty stomach, so I'm not going to do it. Okay. I still get benefits from it, from drinking lemon juice and celery juice, but because
so
it wasn't
real.
an empty stomach,
This is so real.
don't let perfect be the enemy of good. That goes for everything. I would put things off, and then instead of just having it at least a little bit, I wouldn't do it at all.
Yeah.
What is that? What? So I'm just saying, that's really helped me.
Episode 100 is coming up.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Is that going to be next year?
Yeah, it's gonna be for season 3.
Season 3, bro.
I know.
Season 3?
Crazy.
What do you guys think? Do we get like because we have some big guests lined up?
This is about the time when like the writers get really bad in the TV show and it starts going downhill.
Yeah.
You know,
No, that's
3 might
season
be-
6.
Yeah, but God's the writer of this
Okay,
show.
we have a couple more good.
The season 3, episode 100. I don't think I'm gonna lock it in with a big guest. I think that I want to do a call-in episode where it's live and like people get to call in and
Ooh.
talk to us, and we could just talk to the audience itself.
That would be
That's a
so
great
much
idea.
fun.
I think we
great
celebrate
idea.
it with them, and
I like
mind you,
that.
it could be like a big guest and get people excited. But I think it would just be so much cooler if it was live and like it was like them.
Maybe you have a fan on the episode.
All right, let's relax. Okay. I'm also going to be calling the Avengers.
What do you mean?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to do it.
What do you mean?
about time.
I'm going to figure out a way to get Cliff, Stewart, Girls Gone Bible, Ruslan, And pardon me. Oh yeah, Bryce Crawford. And we're gonna have a Bible study podcast where I'm gonna ask them all to bring something that they learned from Jesus, and then we're all gonna sit down and
We're
talk.
gonna need more cameras.
That's huge.
I'm gonna. Oh yeah. No, I'm gonna blow it out of the water. Like, you know, it's so funny when I was in high school, which is so weird. I don't know why people did this, but I looked different. By the way, I don't want anybody coming at me after I say this, but everybody would always call me Robert Downey Jr. That was my nickname. I don't know why. They would be like, "Oh, look, it's Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man, Iron Man." I was flattered, bro,
How
because
sick,
Iron
bro.
Man is like the coolest superhero, right? And so I saw somebody comment. They're like, "These are like the Avengers of like the Christian world." And so I was like, "Dude, if maybe that's why they called me Iron, I'm gonna summon all these people. We're gonna have like a podcast. Also, throw in some names of people that you would love to see a part of that." Like, I think Cliff is the Hulk, right? Like,
Yes.
Cliff comes in just smashing all of us out of the
That's
water.
so funny.
And it would be cool to like gather all these people. And
Johnny.
thank you.
Nice.
Johnny Chang, dude, rocked me, bro. Rocked me. After that episode, he took me aside and ministered over me. And I walked away. I looked at Belle. I was like, that dude's anointed, bro.
Damn.
And it's so funny because he is a gangbanger. Like, you could tell, because when he's talking to us and stuff, and that street side comes out of him, I'm like, oh yeah, you're a real gangster, dude. Like,
Isn't that God's story though, with all the like the greatest people He used?
yeah, yeah, amen. Well, guys, I love you guys. Next week is going to be a special episode. Next week is going to be inspired by the episode of Friends, the Thanksgiving episode, where they always do flashbacks, and we're going to be doing the best of compilations of 2024. Leave a comment underneath these. What you felt last year? What was your favorite moment? Like, what was your favorite moment that you look back on that you really loved? It was a guest or just a solo. I want to read them so we could include them in our compilation.
Nice.
But I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for giving us your time. You know, that's a lot. And we love you guys. And I can't wait to see how we end season 2.
Man.
We have some stuff on the table, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, because it's like during the holidays, it's like trying to,
Everything's
like,
up in the
it's
air.
getting a little hard to
This
lock
time
in.
last year we were going to Romania. I can't believe that, bro.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a year
Crazy.
ago.
That really, that changed everything. That changed everything. But you know, it's so funny. I still think it's the beginning. Like,
Yes,
I still think
100%,
it's the beginning.
100%.
Yeah.
Love you
Amen.
guys.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Peace.
Bye.